Hi there, and welcome to my Soul Authority channel. I'm Lorraine Van Tool, transformational life coach, holistic psychologist, and meditation guide. I'm staking out the safe spiritual space in solidarity so we can hear our authentic voice over all the noise and realign ourselves with clear choice. This is at the heart of Soul Authority. If you felt burned out and low, join us in rekindling our inner fires and getting back in the flow. I'd like you to really feel the seat underneath you and sit and lean against the back of your chair, the wall, the sofa. Feel your feet on the ground and feel yourself relaxed, upright, so that you have a good sense, your body has a good sense what's above, what's below. You can wiggle a little bit even to find your center. So, like a dancer, or if you're in yoga, Tai Chi, you're leaning a little bit forward, a little bit back, and you find that place of balance between those. And the same with left and right. And then even top and bottom, we tend to be very top heavy. So sometimes I also say, imagine that you're on a surfboard, and you might immediately notice that you drop your attention, your weight, your presence more in the lower part of your body, your feet, your thighs, maybe your core. Um, and it's, I think, just an indication of how little we do that. So um, I sometimes even talk about, when I'm writing, even when I'm sitting here talking to you guys, I on purpose really try to be in sort of in the surfer mindset body, because I have learned and discovered, over the years how much more, my mind in all aspects, all parts of my body, not just in my cabeza, my skull, informs what's coming through. So when I channel, which I'm doing right now, and offer this guidance, I need to um, center myself in that way in my energy. The other thing that you may want to do, and this is just kind of half the battle, we're just using the body to support the energy. You can all do this also from the top down as we're meditating, and I'm having you then scan different parts of your body. We'll be doing that too. But starting with the body, that's why starting with structure, starting with healthy eating, sleeping, resting, movement, all the different things is half of the battle. So what we're doing now is sort of smoothing out the energy. You can imagine it almost like a tortilla or a sheet, and you want your presence evenly dispersed throughout your whole being, and you're getting all the wrinkles out. And if there's a hole, you get a little bit of that dough and you smack it down, back, and you roll it again. Or if you're ironing a sheet and there are, wrinkles and crumples or whatever, you get that smoothen out. So you want it as even as you can, all the wrinkles out, no holes, no lopsidedness, as best as you can. And believe me, we're gonna find more lumps and more things even when you think we got it all smooth. Okay, so this is sort of what we're starting with. Now I want you to imagine or feel your heart center chakra right in the middle of the three above and three below. So if you're not familiar with the chakras, there's seven chakras, there's more, but we're using a system of seven, where you have your first chakra in your core, I'm sorry, in your base, then you have one in your creative center, like a few fingertips below your belly button. Then you have one like right there around your belly button. Then you have one on your sternum, that's your heart, kind of in between the ribs right there. Then you have your throat chakra, your third eye, and then the crown of the head. So the heart is right in the middle. And um, you could tap it a little bit if it feels sort of not online, or it feels sort of more sunken in, or it feels more brittle. We want it as smooth as the rest of the sheet and also alive, and it tends to be the source. You might feel it sort of as the well, as the overflowing well. So we want to enter in that space, and you can imagine a passageway if you like, or however you want to enter it. And we're entering it, and imagining that we're entering a sacred garden, a mini earth. And at first, just to be safe, I'm employing your ego mind to make sure that the climate in there is very mild, very gentle. So at first, we're sort of treating it like a greenhouse because we're planting new seeds. We're making sure that the climate in there is congruent with Earth's harmonizing powers and principles. So even if there's a lot of climate crisis, or there's a lot of places where you can have storms and droughts and fires and floods, um really earth, earth is able to bring all of that back in balance, even if that means eventually engulfing all of us, right? It's a very, very powerful balancing principle, and that's is what can neutralize and ground so much of the energy that we also produce or feel in our bodies, and just ground and neutralize it, and um, even release it. So I want to make sure we start from that place, and that our heart center and our inner sanctuary is resonant with that. So that means, um, I guess what I'm trying to say is, many highly sensitive people, when they go into a meditative state, could immediately roll into sort of a traumatic, unprocessed state. And because you're also very intuitive, this has happened a lot too. You might end up, I'm just going to use weather metaphors because I don't want to imprint any images in your mind, but you could end up in a drought, in a storm, in a fire, whatnot, right? So all kinds of scary things could happen, but this is preventing that. This is saying, we need to ground at this level first before we're going to go to the next level and do more advanced acrobatics and healing. So this is another example of what I mean. All the layers can get very collapsed. So we're discerning, and we're separating, and we're controlling sort of the radio station. So this is sort of your greenhouse, the very powerful harmonizing principle. And we're going to strengthen it some more before I'm even going to have you examine what is happening. So even this energy, you might feel it already, creates a buffer. It's almost like opening your heart, and you're not waiting or independent or dependent on anybody to give you love. You're basking in your own love, and we're also basking a bit in the love from everybody here and mind. So we're co-regulating. So you're opening your heart, you're creating this buffer, and now what we're going to do is look for a mature grown tree in the center of your sanctuary. And if you want to go in bare feet, that is totally fine. It would even be more highly recommended for you to connect to earth, as well as open up all your inner senses and your senses of sight. For example, look at the beauty around you, nature, the magnificence. And in this greenhouse, you want all of the four elements palpable and present. So there's a little bit of a breeze. You might notice boulders and earth elements that are helping to ground. There's flowing water either underneath you, or the clouds, or brooks, or waterfall, or the ocean that you're maybe hearing and seeing. And there's the warmth of the sun. So you're really taking all of that in. And this sanctuary place, we really would like it to be a place that exist on the earth, not too fantastical, just to for us to ground here in the body, uh, in connection with Mother Earth. So it could be a place you visited, a place that was a favorite place when you're growing up, something you've seen in a magazine or a movie, but it's an actual physical place. It could be a composite of different places. That's fine too. It's your ideal sanctuary. And so we're looking for the central tree now. Could be more trees, but this central tree is for now gonna be sort of home base. Sometimes I describe it as when you were younger, you played tag, your arm was always sort of, aware where home base is to run back, right? If they came and get you. So we do a lot of that. We wander off, but we don't know where home base is. And we associate ourselves with that wandered, like lost self, so to speak, because we're in that space most often. So don't associate where you're hanging out most often with your true self. Hopefully, you all feel very much like this is my true self. When you do find this tree now, and we're going to sit with this tree after you've made connection, make sure it's all okay. This tree is responding, and this could be intuitive or whatnot, to be your teacher, to be your guide, to be your center, to be your ground. And if that is the case, then we want to turn around and see what that's like to lean against this tree and now surrender and rest. And there's so much, oh my gosh, I feel just like a jolt of energy. You guys are so amazing. So now we're going to lean against this tree and feel the tree having our backs because we're doing something really counterculture. At first, it will feel very natural, then it will feel like your second nature, and soon enough, hopefully, it will feel like your first nature because this is who we truly are. This relaxing, surrendering, even you can lean your head back, is sort of the optimal posture, energetic posture to hold in your body where you're open to guidance coming from your crown and coming from above and also from the below, where you're sitting with the tree and the tree being rooted underneath you, and your ego mind, your thinking forward brain, is surrendered a little bit, is pushed back, is trusting for this wisdom to come forth first and then to organize it, instead of sort of leaning forward in a disconnected way and trying to make sense of chaos and trying to organize chaos all by ourselves, right? So that just gets us in trouble. So as we're leaning here, first and foremost, we need to, and hopefully what we get, what I'm getting, is this is what a lot of people are chasing, doing the opposite, chasing our tails, through all kinds of intricate, elaborate social structures, wanting power, wanting peace, wanting safety, wanting abundance, wanting richness, wanting all of these things, love, admiration, and we do all kinds of eh, convoluted and imbalanced things that actually deplete us more, exhaust us more, and then cause us to spin and spiral, in these um, imbalanced directions even more. So let's just be here for a moment and see if you're able to make some of these connections and see if we're able to fill up maybe an empty tank, an empty reservoir within yourself, while we just connect more and more to nature, sort of outside of you, but kind of inside, because this is your sanctuary inside, and your nature, and we're going to connect more with the elements that move through you. So as you lean against your tree and stay separate from your tree, that's an important teaching, but I leave it from it for another time. So you're not merging with the tree. If you naturally do that, unmerge, just lean against the tree I've had all kinds of things happening and experimentations, and none of them are wrong, such as like dancing with the tree, hugging the tree, climbing the tree, all of that. But again, in another teaching, I'll explain why this is so important to do first as the core foundational one. So as you lean against the tree, we're going to imagine the upper part of the tree align with the upper part of your body, your arms, your fingertips, the crown above your head, the antenna above your head. They're reaching upward and outward towards the sun, towards the star ancestors and beyond. And it's gonna almost feel like you're plugging in a cord, sort of electrical cord in a socket. And you're feeling that direct connection and all of that guidance and wisdom and love coming from above and flushing through, hopefully, all the blockages, or maybe they're a little narrow, but that flow, it starts to clear it, and just through movement and streams and use of that, it flows through. I do feel a little bit of a blockage, and my whale guide is coming to mind. I swam with whales a few years ago, but before I even had the privilege and honor to do so, it was funny. They were teaching me how to do brain farts. And they said that plug there needs you need to sort of unplug that first. So that's kind of what it's coming to me. There's a way a good I'm just like clearing the plugs there of the crown because we're so used to thinking, thinking, thinking. We don't even know how to set that turn that off for a second. So this offers us the opening, it busts through the ceiling on healing, as I call it, on soul healing, and meditation allows that guidance to come through some more. So now what we're going to do is drop deep into the below, pass through that channel, your trunk to your heart, go to the below, into your legs, your feet, and into the roots below you. Feel the lower part of your body connect deeply to these roots, who are also connected, searching for life, for fire, for energy coming from the center of the earth. And the roots are going deep into that soil, the soil that's been enriched by all of our ancestors, all who've come before us, the animals, plants, and also the minerals, elements, all that's mixed into the soil, recognizing all the recycling that's happening, and all that is not totally composted yet. It's physically, but psychically it hasn't. And that's kind of what we're dealing with. So much undigested, shut off emotion, especially vulnerability, so much violence and control and ego, sort of confusion and going at it with each other. That is all still there, and epigenetically we inherited it. And so the first, and I think most important thing to do, is have a little bit of separation from that and recognize that we are not that, even if we inherited it, that there's a lot of ancestral stuff um, that we're all carrying. And all of us are invited, have the opportunity to compost that, to stop sort of these dominoes, um, and also grow from that. It's not just, oh, what a thankless job. Thank you so much, ancestors. But it's all that was in their shadow, and all that will then become our light, our superpower, as we figure out how to do this. So feel yourself getting nourished, by this composting, by these ancestors. But also recognize how much is in your control to do this right, to use heat, to use fire, to prevent it from one soggy mess, or parched, piece of land that is not going to absorb anything, grow anything, and it's going to lead to flash floods all the time. So That is our ability working with heat, breaking things down after death, breaking things down by burning, and fertilizing your soil. So that is a constant process, just like you're eating, digesting, all of that. Respiration, it's a constant thing that hopefully, you'll do on a regular basis, just like brushing teeth, getting the plaque off. We just talked about that in a session earlier. So, yeah, that is our personal responsibility. And hopefully, you think about meditation kind of like that. You start feeling your soul, have I, flossed today? What's sticking on it? And really adopt, I guess, embrace the sparkliness of your soul as it is, inherently as this light, and that everything else that feels heavy, that is, it's totally understandable and fine, but put it a little bit more on the bark. Put it a little bit more on bark, things that happen to you. The tree grows from the inside out, the sparkliness, the layers always come from the inside out. And what's on the bark is medicine, it's protection, and it will also be shed when you no longer need it. So I'm just going to do a quick intro with the elements, but we're going to leave that for next time we meet. So all around you, the four directions, and these are what are helping your heart compass align, are air, fire, earth, and water. Air in front of you, helping you see the big picture, the long view, your highest truth, bringing more spaciousness and insight and inspiration in your usual stories, usually distorted due to the split between up and down, matter and spirit, body and sort of mind or heart in the middle being split. So when we connect those, a whole other storyline emerges. Right to the right is fire, where the sun comes up, and it helps with setting now boundaries as you drop in your body and reconnect to your natural defenses. You're going to go underneath all the imploding, exploding that is associated with those sort of false stories of survival, of splitting. And they're still going to do their thing. And it's important. We do want the bodies to stay healthy, alive, not in pain, but it's just part of the story. So you have a little bit more spaciousness and a little bit more wisdom coming through to respond instead of knee jerk reactions. Then behind you is Earth. Earth is going to help you with aligned versus blind actions, laying the foundation, even less of them, less, of haphazard activity, and uh more intentional foundational steps are going to make eventually a bigger difference than running amok and not just sort of repeating patterns and spirals that don't amount to anything or move the needle. So that is action. It's slow growth, sun ripening, connected. And when your earth is all healthy and solid and good, you're gonna notice your emotionality, your water being regulated. You now have an irrigation system, you have riverbeds, you have ways where water flows, you have a whole system or organized system, just like an earth, and just like you have in your body, an amazing system. I was just talking about that today. Isn't it amazing? You decide you're sad, and based on what? You have your blood pressure, you have your urine, you have your sweat, you have um, um, your sexual fluids, all kinds of fluids moving through you, your tears. And just because of some subtle shifts or movements of this water, you decide that you have a certain emotion. That's just incredible. And on top of that, most of the time, the emotions and the interpretations we have are too personal to over identify. So a lot of us feel like unstable. We think we're, whatever, just volatile and forgetting what is all happening around us. So hopefully with meditation too, you learn to interpret energy and notice what's around you, but really start trusting yourself as a clear and a blank slate, a clear light, and you're going to backlight. You're eventually going to trust yourself more to backlight whatever is happening to you and sitting on your bark to give you information what to do with it. So at the center of all this, the heart, where you're now connecting above, below, and all the four directions, that is your heart compass that you can trust. And so, of course, it's not perfect, but if you're moving from that place, you're going to be much more responsive than reactive. What I call reactive is like a charged magnet, a charged emotion that without setting anything up, you're just letting that pull your true north needle and tell you this is where to go, this is how to respond, that's what to do. That's most of us, right? So getting in the habit of this, even if you were reactive, just pulling back, resetting yourself, then reflecting on it might help you respond in a different way. Okay, so time's almost up for today. So what I'm going to have you do now is come back, bring your awareness back to sitting with your tree, letting each of these insights take deep, deep root into your consciousness. Appreciating the lessons from your tree, appreciating the connection you have with your tree as your guide, with your true nature, with this fire, this clarity, this light inside of you. Feel it supported and reinforced also by fire coming from the sun, fire coming from the earth. Almost like, I talked about a wellspring, but I also see it kind of like there's a lot of paradox when we coming from our wise mind, but I see it almost like this trickling coming from an active volcano. And sometimes it needs to be a huge, big blown up eruption. And that is, I can totally understand that and let that happen. But that's a little bit of a quantum leapy sort of big transformative thing happening. Eventually you want to get it back to sort of a milder, sustainable sort of flow of energy, where all the elements are coming together, fires meeting waters, meeting airs, meeting earth, and providing this fresh new land for new growth. So once we've integrated all these teachings, let yourself slowly come back to the room that you're in. Become aware of your surroundings. Become aware of your body and space. Become aware of the rest of your day. Stretch a bit. Feel yourself coming back in your beta state. Hopefully still alpha. Alpha is alert, relaxed. Beta tends to be more of that little bit of ego, mind, franticness. We need a little bit of that to survive nowadays, but hopefully more grounded in your alpha state. And when you feel ready to re-engage and be sort of in the present moment in your space, open your eyes. All right, it's 2:31. Thank you all for joining me on this beautiful meditation. Look out for a newsletter notice where I will be sharing some of these recordings, and also notice for our next meeting in 2 weeks. Take good care, all of you. See you next time. Thank you for joining me today in staking out spiritual space in solidarity and in community. Please share this video and the Zoom link below with anyone who would love some support in hearing their authentic voice over all the noise and realign with clear choice. I offer me time through meditation virtual meetings every second and fourth Monday of the month from 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. PST. If you would like deeper and more personalized guidance, how to heal, love, lead with Soul Authority, please visit me at soulauthoritycoaching.com or thesacredhealingwell.com for more information.